Girl, stop playing. You're tuned in to another soul snatching solo episode of Girl Stop Playing. I'm your favorite homegirl, Koereyelle, here to encourage you to stop playing with your potential and start working for what you want in life and in love. Because I believe you can have it all. You can make the money and you can get the honey if you are willing to work. And so my goal is to share information and conversation to help you do just that. Make sure you are tuning in to the live episodes that air every single Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, live on YouTube. You can find me at Koereyelle. And if you are enjoying the podcast, be sure to leave your girl a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Google Play. Lastly, if you are interested in advertising your business on an upcoming episode, email partnerships@koereyelle.com for details. Now, this week's solo show, I know y'all have heard about cuffing season, but baby, before we can even get into cuffing season, we got to get into cutting season, okay? Because it is time to cut off anyone and anything that is not in alignment with your divine assignment. You were born to do great things, girl, and what you are being called to requires you to remove and release anything and anyone that's holding you back from becoming the woman that God created you to be. Now, I know that it can feel selfish to make these cuts, but on your team of me, you are not just the star player, you are the coach too. And cutting folks off who aren't for you is a requirement of the job. It is your duty so that you can get to what you are being called to do. So we got to get into a couple things that you are going to be required to cut off if you are going to truly live up to all of the things that you are being called to. So the first person that you're going to have to be willing to cut off, you got to cut off negative Nancy. Okay. Now, negative Nancy, she could also be called Debbie Downer because she's the one who never has anything good to say. Like, no matter how great of news you bring to her, she's always going to pick it apart. She's always going to be pessimistic. She's always going to find the negative in your good. She is always expecting the worst and only ever has something to complain about. She literally drains your energy with her negative energy. And as much as you try to deflect, eventually her bad energy is going to rub off on you. She's the one who calls your phone and it immediately changes your mood. Like as soon as her name pops up, you like, ugh, what she got to complain about this time? Because she never has any good news to share. And she don't even know how to respond to your good news. She always seems to rain on your parade and ruin your vibe because she's too pessimistic to appreciate anything positive. As much as you may love her, she's holding you back from blossoming into who you were born to be. So you're going to have to take a moment and just identify who are those negative Nancys in your life. You have to start eliminating or at least limiting the time that you spend and the energy that you exchange. So the first person we're cutting off is negative Nancy. The second person you're going to have to cut off, y'all, is hating ass HELEN, okay? Whether you realize it or not, you might just be surrounded by a whole bunch of haters disguised as your homegirls. Hating ass HELEN never celebrates your wins, never supports your success because they are just not even happy with themselves. And so it's really hard for them to see the good in what you're doing because they are so busy focusing on what they lack, so busy caught up in their limiting beliefs. So when you start talking about your accomplishments, when you start sharing your good news, they can't even help themselves. The hate just comes natural. And some of these haters might truly be your homegirls. Like they think they want what's best for you, but they truly can't be happy for you because they're not even happy with themselves. And y'all, I gotta tell you, it is hard for someone to be happy for you when they're not happy for them. Okay. They aren't experiencing the life that they think that they deserve, but they can't see that it's their spirit that's stopping their success. And so they sit back, they sit on the sideline, talking ish about everyone else, wondering why so and so, got all of this, wondering who so and so thinks she is, gossiping about what everyone else has going on because they don't have anything going on. You got to cut them off with the quickness and don't feel bad about doing what's best for you. Okay. So you got to cut off negative Nancy. You got to get rid of hating ass Helen. You got to cut off small-minded Susan. Okay. Because your dreams are always going to be intimidating to small-minded Susan. And one of the worst things you can do is try to explain your big vision to someone who's too small-minded to see it. They'll try to talk you out of the dream that God gave you because they're trying to keep you stuck. They want to keep you stuck because they can't see it happening for themselves. And most of the time, they're unable to see it happening for you because they can't even imagine God doing this in their life. They can't even imagine themselves being able to accomplish some of the things that you're able to accomplish. For about 2 years, y'all, I had an entire team of small-minded Susans. And as frustrated as I was, like business started to struggle and I could not see why. Like I could not even see for myself the foolishness that was going on. So I would have these big goals. I would create these massive plans only to bring them back to the team and have them pull them apart, pick at them, shoot down these ideas because they were thinking so small. I literally almost allowed small-minded folks to lead my business into failure. I literally had to get rid of an entire team so that I could go with the vision, build this vision that I knew that God had given me. But it literally took me 2 years, y'all. 2 years of wasted time, 2 years of wasted money. Okay, because I was paying these people. They were not volunteers. But it took all of this time for me to realize that here I was expecting small thinkers to help me carry out this big vision. And so small-minded people will keep you from going after what God has for you, but only if you let them. So you got to cut off negative Nancy. You got to cut off hating ass Helen. You definitely got to get rid of small-minded Susan. And then you got to start cutting off your distractions. One of my mentors likes to say, what entertains you is what trains you. And so I'm going to ask you, what are you being entertained by? What are you spending the majority of your time doing, listening to, following, watching? Anything that isn't adding value is a waste of your time. And we already know that there are not enough hours in the day to even do the things that we need to do, let alone wasting time doing the things that aren't serving you. So as much as you may love being the support system for other people, that may just be a distraction. And so you have to evaluate whether you are spending so much time supporting someone else that you're unable to support yourself. You are so busy helping someone else build their dreams that you done lost sight of your own. Are you so busy watching someone else figuring out what they're doing, wondering how they're doing it, that you're not even focused on what you could be doing? Sometimes the distraction isn't a thing, y'all. Okay. Don't be mad at me for this, but sometimes the distraction isn't a thing. It's a him. Okay. A him, a distraction. Some of us would rather spend our time distracted by dudes than doing the work that we're being called to do, playing ourselves, pretending like this situationship is going somewhere when in reality, we're wasting our precious time with people who aren't even worth our time. So are you actually spending time working, doing the work with an E? Or is all of your time being used for the work with an O? The work with an E is the effort and the energy that you dedicate to your own dreams outside of what you're doing for everybody else, outside of what you're doing for other people. That's the work with an O. And so you got to take some time to evaluate how your time is being spent. Because if your time is not being invested in yourself, it's probably being wasted by someone else. You also got to start cutting off those unhealthy habits, okay? And you are going to have to be willing to keep it real with yourself to identify the healthy habits that you've been wasting your time on, the healthy habits that you've been allowing to distract you from living your dreams. Some unhealthy habits may be as simple as your diet, y'all. Believe it or not, what you put into your body has a massive effect on how you operate mentally. Like what you put in has a huge impact on what comes out, what you're able to produce. Your unhealthy habits may be your negative self-talk. You might be constantly coming up with these great ideas that could literally change your life, only to sabotage yourself by thinking about all of the reasons why it won't work, why you're not ready, why you should wait for the perfect time, or any other number of excuses as to why you shouldn't get started. Your unhealthy habits might be your limiting beliefs, those small thoughts that always seem to creep into your mind, telling you why what God has for you can't be true. So on one hand, you got faith in God that he has this amazing life lined up for you. But then on the other hand, you're thinking about all of the reasons why it's not going to work out, all of the reasons why it can't be that good, all of the reasons why you can't accomplish the thing. Your unhealthy habits might be spending your free time intoxicated. Okay. Hello, somebody. You might be spending your free time intoxicated by whatever you choose. Okay. We all got our own vices, but you might be spending so much time intoxicated that you don't have any time to invest in doing the work required to actually get you to your goals. Your unhealthy habit might be the spirit of procrastination. Okay. Actually believing that you have all the time in the world to do what you're being called to do. Regardless, all of us have an unhealthy habit or 2 or 10 that we need to let go of so that we can get closer to living the life that God designed for us. If it's not helping you become better, it's hindering you from becoming better. There's no middle ground and no time to play games. If it is not a hell yes, consider it a hell no. You got to understand that God did not bring you this far for you to only get this far. There is something far greater for you, but you're going to have to lighten your load, let some things go so that you can complete your journey. Anything and anybody that you are dragging along for the ride will eventually start to weigh you down and become a burden. And you cannot afford to let your burdens block your blessings. So it's cutting season, sis. Time to let go of anything that's limiting you, anything that's holding you back, anything that's keeping you from living the life you were born to live and becoming the woman that God created you to be. So your assignment, so that you can get in alignment, is to figure out what negative Nancy's you got to let go of, what hating ass Helens you got to drop, what small-minded Susans you got to separate yourself from, what distractions you got to let go of, and what unhealthy habits you can't take into the next season. Short and sweet this week, y'all, because you got work to do. I love you. I want nothing but love for you. And it's time for you to stop playing with your potential and start doing the work. See you on the next episode.